quorum, but we may not have 5. We don't have 5. We can't pass the.
That's what I meant. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we won't be able to pass item number 6 on the regular agenda. It takes 5 votes. Isn't that correct, George?
That's correct.
Okay, we're ready, Mayor.
Okay. Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome you to our Monday, August 17th meeting by Zoom for the Texarkana, Arkansas Board of Directors. Heather, could you call the roll, please?
Director Harris?
Here.
Director Hollebush is absent. Director Brewer is absent. Director Minor? Here. Director Peavy?
Here.
Director Teeters is absent. Mayor Brown?
Here. Okay. At this time, Director Harris has asked that we remove item number 4 off of the consent agenda. So the remaining items on the consent agenda, item number 1 is approval of the minutes of the regularly scheduled meeting on August the 3rd. Number 2 is adopt a resolution authorizing city manager to enter into a construction contract with Tatum Excavating Company for East 18th, East 50th, and Sanderson Lane. Adopt a resolution authorizing city manager to purchase a Kubota tractor for the Public Works Department. What is the board's desire in the consent agenda items 1, 2, and 3?
Move for adoption. Lane Harris.
Second, Director Peavy.
So I have a motion and a second. Is any other discussion? If not, could you call the roll, please?
All call. Director Harris?
Oh, yes. I thought it was all. Okay.
Director Minor?
Yes.
Director Peavy?
Yes.
Mayor Brown?
Yes. Okay. Director Harris, item number 4, adopt a resolution authorizing city manager to purchase a TM 300-40 DHE pothole patcher for the Public Works Department.
I'm just trying to say that I'm excited that this piece of equipment is being purchased. You know, after last April the 15th, I drove around my ward and I put in a four-page pothole request, you know, and I'm using my own gas and stuff, but that's besides the issue on that. And I noticed that also I drove back around again around by August the 4th, and it was less than half was completed. And I'm not trying to blame the public works person. I think it could be. I'm gonna say it was they don't have the equipment, which I think I stated about this a year ago, about a patch truck, but this one would greatly serve and increase their productivity with this piece of equipment. And I called and I emailed Tyler and thanked him for purchasing this piece of equipment. And basically that's all I got to say, that I'm glad that this piece of equipment is finally being bought, and it would help the road crew guy and going around the city, not just on the Ward 2, but throughout the whole city, and helping getting pothole patched.
All right. Okay, any other discussion? If not, what would be the board's desire on, I really back up. I need the city attorney to read the resolution.
Whereas the Public Works Department is requesting approval of the city manager to purchase a TM 340 DHE pothole patcher from the Texas Buy Board Cooperative Purchasing Agreement CE pound 515-16 GM. I guess that's number 529-17 in an amount not to exceed $66,110. And whereas $66,110 includes applicable fees, and whereas purchase from this source meets all bidding requirements, and the funds were budgeted and available for purchase of this vehicle in the Streets Capital Outlay Fund. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, that the Public Works Department is authorized to purchase a TM 300-40 DHE pothole patcher for the Public Works Department Street Division in an amount of $66,110, passed and approved the 17th day of August 2020.
Okay, you've heard the resolution read by the city attorney. What's the board's desire on the resolution?
Move to
Lane
adopt.
Harris, adoption. Or second then.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second to approve the resolution. Could you call the roll, please?
Director Harris,
Yes.
Director Minor,
Yes.
Director Peavy,
Yes.
Mayor Brown,
Yes. So the resolution passes. Moving on to our regular agenda, item number 5 is to consider the following action concerning the 2020 Burn Justice Assistant Grant Program. Conduct a public hearing to allow citizens input regarding the use of the Burn Justice Assistance Grant Program monies from Texarkana, Arkansas Police Department, and then adopt a resolution granting permission to submit the 2020 application and further authorizing the city manager to execute a memorandum of understanding interlocal agreement with Miller County regarding the Burn Justice Assistant Grant. That's going to be handled by Lieutenant Nick Elrod. At this time, we'll open a public hearing to allow input regarding the Burn Justice Assistant Grant Program. Nick, are you on the call?
I am.
Okay. You want to give us a little information about it?
Yes, sir. This is just a yearly JAG grant that we've received in the past. This year, we applied for $15,908 to be split between us and Miller County. We've received the grant on previous years, so I don't see any problem in submitting and receiving the grant this year. So we're excited about going forward and being able to buy our equipment with our portion of the grant.
Does any directors or anyone from the public have any questions during the public hearing concerning the use of this money?
Director Peavy, Lieutenant, what equipment do you normally use what do you buy? What type of equipment do you buy with this?
Well, for this grant, we've applied for 2 new WatchGuard camera systems. And that's the body cam and the dashboard cam on the patrol cars. So our portion of that would that we received from the grant would be $10,168 for those 2 camera systems.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any other discussion? If not, I would close the public hearing. At this time, I would have the city attorney read the resolution.
Whereas the Texarkana, Arkansas Police Department has been receiving funds through the Department of Justice LLEBG block grant program for many years and is requesting permission to submit the 2020 application and to enter into an interlocal agreement with Miller County concerning the division of funds received from the grant. And whereas the city and Miller County will split a $15,251 grant from the 2020 Burn Justice Assistance Grant Program, or JAG, and must agree to a disparate certification resolution before either agency can receive the grant. And whereas Miller County has agreed to receive $5,083 for their share with the city and leaving the city with $10,168, an approximate 33 1/3 and 67 2/3 split, whereas the Texarkana, Arkansas Police Department is proposing that the city share funds be used to purchase new WatchGuard camera systems. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, and the city that the Texarkana, Arkansas Police Department is authorized and directed to submit the 2020 application under the Edward Burn Justice Assistance Grant Program to execute the disparate certification resolution with Miller County and to split the grant money as set out above and to use the grant money for the purposes set forth within, passed and approved the 17th day of August 2020.
Okay, you've heard the resolution read by the city attorney. What's the board's desire on the adoption of this resolution?
Director Peavy, I make a motion to approve, to adopt.
There's second.
Barbara Minor, second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the resolution. Is there any other discussion? If not, could you call the roll, please?
Harris,
Yes.
Minor,
Yes.
Peavy,
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes. Okay, so the resolution passes. Item number 6 is an ordinance dealing with our 2020 tax rate. At this time, unless another director has joined us, we don't have the 5 required board members for the passage of an ordinance. So George, would it be just proper then to table this until the next meeting?
We could read it once in its entirety. You will not be able to read it in abbreviated fashion without 5 votes today, but you could have one reading down.
So what's the board's desire? Would you like to have the ordinance read in its entirety for the first reading?
How long is it, George?
It's a page.
Oh, that's not
Do a
bad.
motion. We could have a motion to table.
It's only a page.
I moved Lena Harris, I moved the table until
Have
the
a-
next board meeting.
Motion to table. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second to table. George, does that require a roll call vote to table it?
Yes, sir. You go ahead and vote.
All right, Heather, could you call the roll?
Harris,
Yes.
Minor,
Yes.
Peavy.
Yes.
Is Director Teeters on there now? Director Teeters? Mayor Brown.
Yes. So Tyranda, thanks for joining us, but that is tabled until the next meeting.
Right, that'll be fine.
All right. All right, moving right along to citizens communication time. Notified by Director Harris. Director Harris would like to address the board during citizens communication time. Is there anyone else you're aware of, Heather?
No, sir.
Okay. Director Harris.
Yes, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to follow up about over there at 811 Ash. I guess probably Texarkana know about the big rainfall this past Wednesday, and I got a call from him, and I went over there and looked at it, and so I went up to City Hall and got some sandbags and laid out, but I was only able to get about 10 sandbags. But I was trying to see about when that problem gonna be looked at, and also can I be able to get more sandbags to put in front of his yard and that will help alleviate the problem to the city decide what's gonna be done about that. That was my first issue. And then the second issue, which was based on the same forefront, about I went down there going with the rain, and I'm gonna say I'm aware that we got about 7 inches of rain, but and Jones Creek and Nicks Creek flooded, and I know I've been getting a lot of questions and comments about this because I also had recorded this and put it on Facebook, and I know so far about 2.5K people had looked at it and been shared 35 times. But I'm not trying to hop on the idea of how many times it was viewed and how many times it was shared. I'm just trying to see is how do we go about getting the Corps of Engineers to come in and look at our creeks here and see what type of recommendation can be done about this. You know, this happened along Morrison and Pinehurst, and I also aware that over there at this retirement home, I think that was Nick Creek flooded out. And also I'm aware of the issue about Jones Creek too. So, and that's my question I'm asking, what can be done about the creeks around here in Texarkana? And how do you get the Corps engineer to come down and maybe possibly dredge the creek and somewhere down the future get that creek paved? And that was my concern about this.
I mean, just from my perspective, Director Harris, one is that this is something that, you know, certainly needs to be addressed with the Public Works Department. But I do know that in some previous business experience with the Corps of Engineers, there are stipulations that you have to have the Corps of Engineers permission to do a number of things. And one of those is Nix Creek. The other issue that we've had is we had an unprecedented amount of rainfall, and we're in a floodplain. I had most of those calls, as you did, and I actually went out to several locations myself. And I think this is something that, you know, we all should address individually or at some point in time, maybe with Public Works, to see where our problem areas were and see if we can maybe prioritize what we can do. And see how you could get the Corps of Engineers involved. I'm not for sure how we would do that legally or technically, but certainly something that needs to be addressed. But it certainly had a lot to do with the record amount of rainfall that we had. I don't know if we even could have done a lot of work. It would have prevented a lot of that water because it was in vast amounts for sure. But I know I intend to work with the Public Works Department to see what we can do moving forward to try to prevent what we're able to prevent. Certainly, unfortunately, I don't think we would be able to prevent all of that type of flooding, but me personally, I'm going to work with Public Works to see what we can do to work towards some of the problem areas and what we can do to fix it. Is there anybody else that has anything under citizens communication time? If not, did Director Teeters join, Heather?
She's having audio and video problems still.
Okay. All right. Having said that, then there's no other items I'm aware of that we need to cover. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Move for adjournment.
There's a second.
Second, Barbara Minor.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Could you call the roll, please?
Director Harris,
Yes.
Director Minor,
Yes.
Director Peavy,
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes. Okay, thanks for joining us. We're adjourned.